when I was speaking to economist Dr. Iraj Abedian yesterday afternoon, asking him to look ahead to today's budget, and pretty much all of what he said to me was going to happen has in fact happened. One of the questions I asked him was, did he anticipate the budget doing anything positive for the world of SMME, small, medium, micro-sized enterprises? And he said, almost certainly not. We're joined now by Dr. Bhasela Yalezo, who is a senior lecturer at the Universityof KwaZulu-Natal's Graduate School of Business and Leadership. Bhasela, good afternoon.
Afternoon, sir.
Having a look at the budget, what you know of it to date, does it look to you to have done anything meaningful for the small and medium business world?
No, certainly the minister did not really mention anything substantial in that regard. And I think it is a disappointment because we've got high unemployment rate, and the SMMEs normally do employ a lot of people, and that on its own is a significant challenge and will not really take us forward as South Africans. So remember, with the load shedding, SMMEs are not doing well, and high unemployment has increased as a result. And now we're finding ourselves in a situation where we've got a shortfall, but not only a shortfall, but also an economy that is not performing. I think that's the predicament that the South Africans are finding themselves in.
Yeah, I mean, I obviously haven't seen all of the budget documents, but from the minister's speech, there doesn't seem to have been anything which was focused in any way on relief for the small and medium business sector, which has been struggling with all sorts of things, consumers who have less money to spend, load shedding, plus.
Now, certainly there was nothing that was mentioned, because you will remember that SMMEs are struggling maybe in three fronts. One, high crime rate, which makes doing business difficult, but also the red tape issue, although we've got a minister or a person who's responsible for reducing the red tape in the presidency. That is not helping. Load shedding as well. I think what the minister highlighted in passing was better partnerships somehow with the private sector for the development of government projects or for doing projects, but not necessarily dealing with SMMEs.
I mean, traditionally, though, I suppose one could argue in the minister's defence, if one wanted to come to the minister's defence, that the budget speech is traditionally not a place where this kind of thing does surface, is dealt with.
Certainly, but remember, the SMMEs do play a critical role in the development of the economy, because not everyone can be employed by government, and SMMEs do play a big role in reducing unemployment, but also giving the government tax revenues. So they are very important. So not mentioning or giving them a substantial positive contribution or mentioning does not really help the situation, because they have stated significantly that they are struggling because of the load shedding, high crime rate. They are struggling. So I think government should or ought to have focused slightly on SMMEs rather than pumping a lot of money and giving guarantees to state-owned entities. I don't really think SMMEs require that much compared to the amount that has been pumped into state-owned entities.
Okay. Are there any indications, though, in other government programs, in the State of the Nation address, for example, anything credible within, look, we don't have the final ANC election manifesto, but we did have the January 8th speech and so on. Are there any nuggets in those kinds of speeches worth uncovering in terms of possibly anticipating an even slightly better future for small and medium enterprise in South Africa?
I don't necessarily think all is lost, because the minister has allocated budget to provincial governments, and to the national governments. When we hear the budget vote of each and every ministry, I am quite confident that they will deal with it, maybe or highly possible in the budget votes for each and every ministry, particularly the Economic Development Cluster or the Ministry of Economic Development when they deal with that particular instance, because the minister concerned of SMMEs or Minister of Economic Development will have to deal with that aspect in their budget books. So I don't necessarily think all is lost, but it will be disappointing if even in those ministries or in the relevant ministry where SMMEs are housed, they don't mention anything or they don't give us anything substantial and tangible.
Thank you very, very much indeed. Dr. Bhasela Yalezo is a senior lecturer. Maybe he's the senior lecturer, I don't know, at the Graduate School of Business and Leadership at the University of KwaZulu-Natal. The 2024 Budget Desk on CapeTalk, brought to you by Telkom Business. Do business big with Telkom Business.